Hey, ready to dig into Mendix 10.15. This release is all about speed and efficiency, especially for those familiar with SAP development like yourself. We're talking potentially 10 times faster app development. 10 times! I know, sounds almost too good to be true, right?
It's a bold claim for sure. But Mendix isn't just talking about a few improvements here and there. What's interesting is how they've packed enhancements across the entire development lifecycle, calling them GIFs in their blog post. Talk about confidence.
So let's unwrap these gifts. Let's start with Studio Pro, where they've really amped up performance on everyday tasks like autocomplete and the properties window. You know, those little lags we've all experienced. Seem like those are gone now, giving us back those precious seconds in our day.
Exactly. And it's not just speed. It's about simplifying those tasks, too.
Yeah.
Remember needing a data view just to use expressions for things like visibility or dynamic classes?
Oh, I definitely remember. Wasn't a huge deal, but an extra step for sure.
Right. Gone now. You can embed those expressions directly now, streamlining modeling. And speaking of streamlined, X-ray mode is out of beta for Windows. Remember when we first saw this? Being able to visualize the page structure right there on the canvas is a game changer, especially for complex layouts.
For sure. No more flipping back and forth between views. And it gets better. They've added data source info directly within X-ray, so you see the available data context right there. No more hunting for it.
All about making development more intuitive, key for both seasoned developers and those just starting out with Mendix. And while we're on user experience, the DataGrid 2 upgrades are worth a look.
Definitely. The personalization options are great. Users can save their preferred filter settings, no more reapplying them every time. A small detail, but makes a world of difference for the end user. I'm thinking of a few projects where this would have been a lifesaver.
Shows Mendix is focused on a smooth and personalized experience. Not just for developers, but the entire user journey.
Exactly, and that kind of attention to detail sets a platform apart. Now, let's switch gears to workflows. You're very familiar with BPMN, and I know you've been wanting to see how Mendix handles more complex workflow scenarios. Well, workflow boundary events are here, and they're bringing that BPMN-like power to the low-code world.
This is where it gets interesting. Imagine building a workflow where a task needs escalating if it's not done within a certain time, say a week. Boundary events give you a visual way to model that exception handling right within your workflow.
Right. No more clunky workarounds. It's all there in the workflow editor. But it's not all big, flashy features. They've made smaller quality of life improvements, too. Like the commit dialog now shows how many changes are in each tab, and it automatically selects the first tab with changes.
A small change, but I can see it being incredibly helpful in your workflow. It really is. Those little things add up. Speaking of efficiency, AI. Mendix has been making waves with its AI assistant, Maya. And, well, 10.15 takes things up a notch.
Excited to dig into this? We know AI is the buzzword right now, but Mendix seems to be moving past the hype and delivering.
Exactly. And what's interesting about Maya is how it's going beyond just code generation. Remember us talking about AI becoming a real part of the dev team? We're getting there. Maya can still build out those app components fast, but now it can answer your dev questions in real time.
Like having a super-powered Stack Overflow, right?
Right. And for someone like you working on global projects, this next part is big. Maya now supports multiple languages.
Wow, that is big. We've all hit those walls where language slows things down. This could be a game changer for global collaboration.
Definitely. Fits with Mendix's accessibility focus. Now, ready for the next level.
Yeah.
10.15 introduces connectors for OpenAI and AWS Bedrock, opens up a world of generative AI. We're talking generating text, images, even more complex code, all on the fly.
Okay, now we're talking. I see the potential for automating those repetitive coding tasks that eat up time.
Exactly. Imagine, describe what you need. Maya generates the code, error handling, best practices, all there. Or picture an app generating personalized content based on user data. The potential is huge.
Sounds almost too good to be true. But how much will this AI magic cost? We know those AI APIs can get pricey.
Valid concern. Mendix thought of that. They've got the token monitor now. It gives you visibility into your token usage, so track costs and avoid surprises.
Okay, good to know. I'm always wary of hidden costs with these new technologies, but it's not all theoretical. Any concrete examples of this AI in action?
They do. They release a support assistant starter app. uses AI to help users find answers to support questions, even guides them through creating a ticket.
Great example of AI improving customer experience, A&D internal efficiency. I can see this being adapted to different needs.
Exactly. Now on to SAP integration. Mendix 10.15 delivers here significant enhancements, starting with the OData connector. To really get it, we need to clarify some SAP lingo.
You're right. SAP can be its own language sometimes.
It can. So OData, think of it as a universal translator. Lets different systems like your Mendix apps and your SAP systems talk smoothly. Now, within SAP, you've got things like SAP Business Suite, their big thing for years, and S/4HANA, the newer, faster suite, both widely used, but understanding them is key for integration. Mendix's OData connector works with all of them. SAP Business Suite, SAP Plan, Cloud, on-premise, even SAP SuccessFactors, their people management system. If it speaks OData, Mendix connects.
That's impressive. Sounds like they covered everything. So how does this translate into real-world benefits?
Imagine using your SAP data without headaches from complex integrations, or worse, messing with the core SAP system. Mendix is all about keep the core clean, and for good reason.
Keep the core clean. I like that. Reminds me of how we approach Mendix projects modular, avoiding unnecessary dependencies.
Exactly. You see, in the past, companies would customize their SAP systems heavily. Worked for a bit, but it created a mess of dependencies, upgrades, migrations, nightmares.
Like building a house on sand. One change and the whole thing collapses.
Perfect analogy. Mendix helps you avoid that. Build those custom solutions as separate apps that integrate seamlessly. Your SAP system. Clean, standardized, ready for the future.
Adding a modern extension to a historic building. You keep the original intact while adding what you need. Any real-world examples of this approach?
Absolutely. Sibelco, a global materials company. They wanted to implement S/4HANA globally, but their customized SAP landscape made it a challenge. Mendix allowed them to build those custom solutions outside the core system, kept it clean for a smoother S/4HANA migration.
Powerful example. Seeing it work for a company like Sibelco really makes it real. This keep the core clean idea, it makes sense. So for someone ready to start their own SAP integration, what's the first step with Mendix 10.15?
Well, Mendix has simplified that first step with a new tool, the Model Creator for SAP integrations. It's in the OData connector documentation.
Model creator for SAP integrations. Sounds interesting. Tell me more.
It's all about streamlining. This Model Creator, it lets you generate a Mendix domain model right from your SAP OData service metadata. Instead of manually creating those entities, those associations in Mendix, mirroring your SAP system, this tool does it for you.
Wow. Sounds like a huge time saver. Especially with large, complex SAP systems, those little things make a difference in a project.
Absolutely. Mendix clearly put a lot of thought into making SAP integration smooth. That's really the theme of Mendix 10.15, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
From the quality of life things for us developers to these AI capabilities and this easier SAP integration, it's all about boosting productivity, really innovating faster.
Totally. They found that balance between giving seasoned developers like us advanced tools and making it easier for those just starting with low code to build powerful apps.
It's about opening up software development, making it accessible to everyone, and that's something I'm really passionate about.
Me too. It's exciting to be working in this field. As we wrap up our deep dive into Mendix 10.15, think about this. How can you use these new features, the AI, the SAP integration, to really tackle the challenges you face, to drive real value for your organization? The possibilities are huge.